All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we have finally made it through this entire 7-part series. We are on the yellow cards, the final color we have to cover today for OP-09, and now we've been through all of them. Excuse me, guys. Like I said, we've been through all of them. I'm going to have that linked in the comment section if you want to skip to any one of the videos. I definitely recommend checking out the leader one, guys, if you're not checking out all of them. The leader one's a good time because I also have a tier list in there. That's a lot of fun. That's a good time. But today, guys, we got the yellow cards. I am very excited about these cards. The 3 colors that I was most excited about going into the OP-09, full review was red, purple, and yellow. The Odyssey stuff from green looks very cool. Buggy from blue looks awesome. Blackbeard from black looks amazing as well. But man, there was something about the purple, yellow, and red cards for me that they were just like calling to me. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry about my throat. Which is very strange with the red cards because I don't typically play red decks. But man, ever since I started playing red, yellow, Sabo, I don't know. I guess all bets are off, right? We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. Let me tell you what we're getting into. First up, we will be going through all the yellow cards from OP-09, like I said. And then we got one game on the sim, a little bit of fun. We got a game of we've got a game of Purple Black King. Okay, that's going to be a lot of fun. That should be interesting. Okay, and I'll show the deck list at the end of the video, and we'll wrap it up in that way. All right, guys, you know what you're getting into. As always, I'll have everything timestamped in the general description. I'll have all relevant links and deck lists in the comment section. And we're off to the races now, guys. Let's do this. As usual, please do not forget, or if you have any questions, any comments, any suggestions, don't be shy. By all means, I love to read all those. I always read every comment, guys. I might not respond to all of them, but I always read them. Okay, so, hey, by all means, take advantage of that. All right, so here we go, guys. Now, I've already covered the leaders. Like I said, I have a whole video dedicated to that, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Nico Robin, but I have rated all of the different leaders, like all 6 of the new ones coming out in OP-09. But I will at least read the leaders so we at least have an idea of what some of the card design will be about for some of these. It'll refresh our memory for some of the cards we're about to read. So Nico Robin is a 4-life, 5,000 power purple/yellow leader. Excuse me. It is a Straw Hat Crew character, leader, with banish, built-in banish, and when attacking, you may trash 1 card with a trigger from your hand. Add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. It's got some ramp built in, guys. It's got banish built in. It's Straw Hat Pirates, Straw Hat Crew, I guess. It's just really, really solid. I know a lot of people don't think this leader is going to be very good, but I don't know, man. It's not going to stop me from trying to make it work because I just think this is an awesome leader, and I love banish as a mechanic in the game. Well, I shouldn't say I love it. I actually have a love-hate relationship with it because I really can't stand it. But hey, if it's a feature that I want to be able to abuse it, banishing cards from life is very, very strong, guys. It's absolutely massive. So yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Like I said, if you want to know my full breakdown on Purple Yellow Nico Robin, check out the leader video. Okay, there's the alt art. Looks solid. I'm not a huge fan of this one, and I do mention that, I believe, in the leader video, but, it still looks pretty cool. I just wish they had chosen a little bit better picture for Nico Robin, something more, like in this caliber. But this is, I guess, more like the manga style with the cross-hatching and everything. Okay. Now, this is why I was most excited about yellow, guys. I'm sorry if I'm screaming into the microphone right now, but no, this is why I was so excited about yellow. For those who are new to the channel, for those who are not aware, I'm a big fan of the Revo Army stuff currently, and I've been making almost nothing but red-yellow Sabo or red-yellow Bello Betty lists. And when I saw these cards, making red-yellow Sabo and Bello Betty decks, and when I saw these cards, I was like, oh yeah, I need these right now. So let's go ahead and read them real quick. The first one is going to be Karasu. It is a 3-cost, 4,000 power character with a 1k counter, Revo Army type, of course. The effect is blocker. He just has blocker, but listen to this trigger, guys. This is a new thing that you should expect from cards in this set. Trigger: if your leader has the Revo Army type and you add your type and you and your opponent have a total of 5 or less life cards, play this card. So it is a little restricted. That's for sure. It is a little bit restricting how you and your opponent have to have a combined total of 5 or less life. So in other words, if you have like 2 life and your opponent has 4, can't do it. If you've got 3 life, your opponent has 5, Can't do it. Okay, so that is something that might make you want to start countering out earlier. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I will say it's nice that it's free once we do hit that stipulation. And I'm sure there's going to be ways we're going to be able to figure out to, you know, very consistently get our opponent and our life and our opponent's life down as quick as possible. Okay, but as far as this card goes, I will be rating each one of these cards, guys, on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being not so great, 10 being very, very good. Okay, so this card is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter card with blocker. One thing that Revo Army kind of lacks right now, I'm not saying they totally lack it, there are cards like it, but they don't have a lot of great 3-cost cards. So your odd curve ends up having a gap in it if you don't get the perfect pull, because it ends up being turn 1, Bello Betty Searcher, into turn 2, Morley, maybe, if you're running Morley, or oh gosh, I can't remember his name, Inazuma. Okay, if you have Inazuma in there, and then your 5-Dawn turn is incredible, where you have the 5-cost 6k Imperial Ivankov. So now we're going to have access to more 3-cost cards in this set. You're going to see that here. This card, I'm just going to give like a 6 out of 10. This card in and of itself is nothing crazy. It's just a 3-cost 4k, 1k counter blocker. It has the potential to enter into play as a trigger, or from the trigger, if you and your opponent have 5 or less life cards altogether. Not bad, we'll take it, but overall it's still just like a little better than what I'd consider an average card to be. I'm just going to give it a 6 out of 10, maybe 6.5 if I'm being generous. Okay, next up we have Kuzan. This is a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter Navy type character. It has an on-play effect of place one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less at the top or bottom of your opponent's life cards face up, and then your opponent trashes 1 card from their hand. I'm a huge fan of this card. Okay, this has nothing to do with what we were just talking about with the Revo Army stuff. This is just totally random on the side here. You are bouncing one of their characters into their life, and they're trashing a card. So, and you're establishing a 4-cost 5k, and it's a 1k counter in hand. I think this card's absolutely incredible. I don't think it's broken or anything. I don't think it's going to necessarily break the game or anything like that. But I do think this is a very high value character, and because of that, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I mean, hey, if you're just playing out, a 4-cost 5k right on turn, right on your 4-Dawn turn, bouncing back whatever they played last turn to their life, and then they have to trash a card. Yeah, I'll take it every single time, guys. I'd really like to see a new black and yellow leader that, maybe a black, yellow, navy leader. That would be kind of cool. I'd like that, but we'll have to see what happens in the future. But this effect, guys, very powerful. I'm a big fan of it. Kuzan looking like an absolute beast, chilling. He's got the collar popped. What an absolute, alpha over here. Awesome. So I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Like I said, big fan of this one. Okay, next up we have Professor Clover. Check out that hair, guys. Man, that's wild. Okay, check out the beard, the hair, everything. So this is a 1-cost, 0-power, yellow Ohara type character with a 2k counter on it. And it has on play if your leader is Nico Robin. So this is a leader locked card, guys, for the effect. On play, if your leader is Nico Robin, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with a trigger, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Now remember, guys, that is actually very important to what Nico Robin does. When you use her when attacking card, if you're trying to ramp a Dawn, you do have to trash a trigger card from your hand. Okay, so it's a 2k counter. It's going to be able to draw you trigger cards. Top 3 search for trigger. Not bad. And then trigger, it has a trigger itself, which allows you to activate the card's on-play effect. Yeah, I think this is a great utility 2k counter. I'm going to give it a 7.5, maybe even an 8 out of 10, because it's a 2k counter that also works as a searcher and has a trigger. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, which is a very strong 2k counter. I usually give those a default 7 out of 10, unless it's extremely practical, like in this case. It might even be closer to an 8.5 out of 10, guys. It's just a really high utility 2k counter. Okay, next up we got Koala. Here we go. Back to the Revo Army stuff, right, guys? We got a 6-cost, 6,000 power, no counter, Revo Army blocker character here. With the effect of on play, you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Okay. And then play up to 1 Revo Army type character card with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. And if you do, draw a card. So you're taking 1 life, okay? You're going to take a life card. Then you're going to cheat out a cost 4 or lower Revo Army character from your hand, and then you're going to draw a card. Okay, so this ends up being a, you're getting 2 bodies on the board, and you're getting 2 cards back to your hand, right? You're playing 2 cards from your hand, and then you're drawing 2 cards in the process, 1 from life and then 1 from the top of your deck. Now, yes, you are losing a life in the process, but hey, I'll tell you what, man, if you're running this in like, I don't know, maybe something like Red, Yellow, Sabo, not a big deal. Oh man, I lost a life. I guess I'll just gain a life this turn, right? Very powerful. A lot of possibilities there, a lot of potential. But yeah, I do like this card quite a bit. I think this card's probably somewhere around a 7.5 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 if I were to rate it. Because, okay, it has a lot going on for it. It is lowering your life, which is actually something you want to do, right? Like you're trying to lower your life so you can get these triggers to happen. Because guys, just so you know, a little bit of a spoiler here. You know, spoilers on spoilers here, where the triggers for this set, they all look the same for the Revo Army stuff, where you and your opponent have to have 5 or less life. That's not exclusive to this one card. It looks like it's going to be a theme in this OP-09 Revo Army set. So with a card like this, you are going down 1 life, and now you're getting closer to your trigger, your trigger stipulation. So with that in mind, you know, you're going down to it, you're drawing the card in the process, you're cheating a card out from your hand, you're establishing a 6-cost 6K blocker, and you're drawing a card from your deck. You're drawing a card from your deck is actually like a very big deal, right? Because you're going through your deck so much faster. And yeah, all I'm going to say is I think this card is very strong, but at the same time, how do I say this? It is forcing you down the Revo Army path. I like when cards are a little more universal, but hey, I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10 at the least, and maybe even closer to an 8 out of 10. I think it's a good card. We'll have to see how it goes. Okay, now we have the alt art for it. Okay. Looks awesome. Looks really good. Sabo. Here we go. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about this, guys, because we are in the Red, Yellow, Sabo arc of this channel, right? You know, we're in the Red, Yellow, Sabo era, or arc of this channel. This is a 7 cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter. I'm a huge fan of that stat line. I mentioned it in purple and I mentioned it in blue because there were 2 characters like that in those, in those colors for OP-09. So here's the thing. This one's a Revo Army. On play, add up to 1 Revo Army type character card from your hand to the top of your life cards face up. Okay? Then, if you have 2 or more life cards, add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Trigger if your leader is multicolored, draw 2 cards. Yeah, that's pretty strong. That's pretty strong, guys. Imagine in Red, Yellow, Sabo, the leader, you can play this card out, put a card into the top of your life that you need that has a trigger, and then you draw the card from the bottom of your deck, and then you put this card on top of your deck as well. So now when they attack in, you're going to draw 2 from this trigger effect, and then when they attack in again, you're going to play out the trigger card, and it just does a whole lot, guys. This card is really strong. It's like an 8 out of 10, though. It doesn't get much higher than that because it is a very limited effect. You're going to add up to 1 Revo Army card from your hand. And by the way, there is something to be said there. You can even add another Sabo. There's no restriction on that. It just has to be Revo Army type. So you can add up to 1 Revo Army type character card from your hand to the top of your life cards face up. Then if you have 2 or more life cards, you'll add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. So, like for example, one thing you might have to do at some point in the game, like who knows, like you'll have to see. But like if you have, say you have 0 life, well maybe you're going to want to put, say you have 2, and you have, okay, for this example, hypothetical here, if you have 2 Sabos in your hand, you can add 1, play this one out, adding the other Sabo to your life face up with this Sabo's effect, right? And this is just 7 Dawn so far. So then what you'll be able to do then, attach 1 Dawn to your leader and then push this card to the top of your life, buffing one of your characters on the board. So it's like that has a lot of potential if you think about it, guys. And then when they do attack into you, you're drawing 4 cards. You're going to draw 2 from this guy and 2 from the other one in that hypothetical example that I made up. I don't think the card's insane. I just think the card's very good. That's all I'm going to say. We'll have to see. I cannot wait to experiment with this card, because I do think it's very good, but at the same time, I don't know. At the same time, I don't know. That's where I'm going to leave that. I need to test with it and see how it goes, see how it does. All right. I would have loved to have given this card like a 9 out of 10, guys, but I just don't think it is. I just think it's a really good card. Hey, 7 out of 10? Absolutely. Maybe even an 8 out of 10 at the most. So I'll say that. 7 out of 10 at the least, 8 out of 10 at the most. Okay. Because it is locked, guys. It is Revo Army locked, multicolor leader locked for the draw 2 effect for the trigger. It has a lot going against it, but it has a lot going for it as well. 7 cost, 7,000 power, 1k counter, blah, blah, blah. All right. Okay, next up we have Sanji. We got a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter, egghead, straw hat crew type character card here for Sanji. No effect, so he's a vanilla character. However, he does have a trigger. Trigger, if your leader has the egghead type, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards, then trash 2 cards from your hand. Trashing 2 cards from your hand is a pretty steep cost for the egghead stuff from what I've seen. But hey, this can potentially gain you a life, right? I mean, it's a 5 cost 6k, and then boom, you know, or excuse me, not... I got so confused there, guys. Sorry. My mind was going in 2 different directions at once. It's a 5 cost 6k, which is really strong as is, and the 1k counter. But then if you put this into your life as your last life, okay, trigger, you know, you can gain a life. As long as your leader has the egghead type. Trash 2 cards from hand. Really good stuff. I would rate this as like probably a 7 out of 10. I'd make this a 7 out of 10 because, hey, sometimes this effect right here can win you a game. Every now and then, an effect like this will literally win you the game. It's worth mentioning, so really solid. And I really like the artwork as well. Looks really cool. Okay, next up we have Nico Olvia. This is a 1 cost, 0 power, 2k counter. Excuse me, guys. Ohara type. Effect on play. Up to 1 of your Nico Robin leaders gains plus 3,000 power during this turn. Wow. So that's a very strong utility 2k counter. Remember, guys, that will make your leader a 8,000 power card for 1 Dawn with Banish. It already has Banish. And then trigger, if your leader is Nico Robin, draw 3 and trash 2 from your hand. That trigger is... What? That trigger is wild, guys. Draw 3, trash 2. Now, it is... This whole card is locked to Nico Robin, obviously, but man, that trigger is absolutely insane, guys. Draw 3, trash 2 on a 2k counter. It's got the Shirahoshi trigger on a 2k counter. And then on play, it's a Makino for your leader. You know, like this card, guys, is a 9 out of 10 when it comes to 2k counters. This is an auto-include in Nico Robin. I don't care if it's searchable or not. This is an auto-include. I guess it is searchable with that Clover guy, but still incredible. Yeah, 9 out of 10 for 2k counters. Did I rate this one? Yeah, I did. Okay. Next up, we have Nico Robin, the character. Okay, we got a 6 cost, 6,000 power character here with a 1k counter. It has on play, it's a Straw Hat Crew card, of course, and it has effect on play if your opponent has 3 or more life cards. Trash up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life cards. I really like that effect, but hang on, let me finish the trigger here. Trigger, play up to 1 yellow character card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. That's kind of whatever. I'm not a huge fan of that. Well, hang on. So play up to 1 yellow character card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. So that would allow you to potentially cheat in to play like something like this Karasu. And we're going to look at, there's others as well, guys, we haven't got to yet. But that's not terrible. That's not terrible being able to cheat in a card like this from the trigger. It's better than nothing, right? It's better than nothing. But that on-play effect is really strong, guys. Because, okay, one problem with, there's a card called Tropical Torment. It's a 3-cost Big Mom Pirates event that makes, you know, that allows you to trash a card from your opponent's life if they have 4 or more cards, in life. Being able to hit the leader with 3 or more cards in life is just a drastic difference. It's way different. Because this card immediately, if they have 3 or more life cards, if they have 3 exactly, this puts you in range of your Kid and Killers if you're running like red-yellow. So, excuse me, guys. This card is absolutely incredible. It's a 6 cost 6k with a 1k counter. It has a trigger. Where's the downside to it? You know what I mean? Like, I guess the downside is like, oh, well, what if they have 2 or less life cards, you know, where you can't use the effect anymore? Okay, hey, I guess it's a 1k counter still and a 6k body. We'll take it. A 6 cost 6k body with that trigger. Guys, obviously, you know, in my red-yellow Sabo brain right now, it's like, yeah, we'll take that card every time. I will play this card down, make you trash your 3rd life card, and now my Kid and Killer is going to be turned on for next turn. And you know what I'm going to do? You better believe it. Next turn, I'm going to play down Kid and Killer, smash them in the face, buff this character after lifing my Kid and Killer, and then smash in with Nico Robin for 8, and now it's an 8k body. Your turn. You know, it's just so good. Really good card. I'm going to give this card like an 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. Very strong. Okay, there's the alt art. Looks absolutely incredible. I've seen quite a few by this artist here, Basai. Really good stuff here. This looks excellent. Really good colors. Awesome. Okay, back to the Revo Army stuff, guys. This is a 7 Warlords of the Sea Revo Army card, Bartholomew Kuma. This is a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 2k counter, no effect, but it does have the same triggers we saw earlier. If you and your opponent have 5 or less life, then you can play this card from the trigger for free. And excuse me, and this one is a 4-cost 5k with a 2k counter, so that is really nice, actually. Being able to put down a 4-cost 5k straight from your life, potentially, and then it's a 2k counter in your hand, and it has a trigger. Yeah, not a lot of downsides to this card, guys. And I will say this, for those who play Revo Army, you know, we were kind of lacking good 2k counters that are searchable Revo Army counters. So this is actually a very nice card. This is a really strong card for us. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. Maybe even closer to an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, Jaguar D. Saul. This is a 3-cost, 5,000 power yellow character with blocker. It's an Ohara Giant Navy type. Trigger, if your leader is Nico Robin, play this card. Wow. So it's a 3-cost 5k blocker that has trigger, play this card if your leader's Nico Robin. It does not have a counter, though, which is one thing going against it. But hey, in Nico Robin, this card is an easy 7.5 or 8 out of 10. But in any other deck, it is just a 3-cost 5k blocker. Like, that's not even bad if you think about it. Because think about it like this. A vanilla card would be a 3-cost 5,000 power 1k counter with no blocker, with no effect on it. So this card basically gave up a 1k counter to be a blocker, and then it has the upside in Nico Robin to also have the ability to play the card. I think this is a great card, guys. I think this is like, I mean, I'll give it like okay, in anything other than Robin, it's like a 5 or a 5.5 out of 10. Like, actually, I'll say it's like a 6 out of 10 outside of Robin. But in Robin, this is like a 7.5 or an 8.5 out of 10. It's somewhere in there. Just incredibly useful, has trigger, can play it. It's just really good. So like I said, I'll say this is like a 6 out of 10 outside of Nico Robin, but in Nico Robin, we'll just say like around 7.5 out of 10. Really good. Pierre, we got a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter, trigger, play this card, on play, draw 2 cards, trash 2 cards from your hand. Wow. Animal, Sky Island type. Guys, this is a good card. On play, draw 2, trash 2, and it's a trigger, play this card. Wow. I mean, I think this is actually a really, really good card. I mean, it's not like broken. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. This is just a very high-quality card. Yeah, for me, guys, I like how his cape... Okay, real quick. This is not an art critique, but I like how the inside of his cape is yellow and the outside is black. So, yeah, this is giving me serious black-yellow Lin vibes, guys. I definitely want to mess around with this. And excuse me, guys. I do apologize about my throat. It's like wearing out on me. I really like the idea of this card in black-yellow Lin. Draw 2, trash 2, fill up our trash. This card is a thumbs up, guys. I give this card... Guys, I got to mute for just 1 second to clear my throat. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, my apologies, guys. My throat just went haywire. But yeah, guys, this card seems really good. It's not busted or anything. It's just a very useful card. Draw 2, trash 2 on a 2-cost character. Absolutely. And then trigger, play this card. We'll take it every single time. I'm thinking of like a combo in my head right now for later in the game where maybe it's like, okay, in a yellow deck, even just mono yellow or any deck that can run yellow, imagine going like on a 10 Dawn turn. This is just one like, you know, quirky play you could do. But it's like, okay, play out Pierre to draw 2, trash 2, and then play out Katakuri to life it. Now you just gain a life, and when he comes to play, draw 2, trash 2 more. Like, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. I'm going to give this card like a 7.5 out of 10. This is just an incredible utility card. It's not going to win you any games. It's nothing like that. It's just the level of utility that this card has is off the charts. Really, really nice. Big fan. Okay, next up we have Brook. Let me make sure the recording's good. Okay, yeah, we're good. All right, this is a 5-cost 6k 1k counter, egghead, straw hat crew type character with no effect, but it does have a trigger. If your leader has the egghead, if your leader has the egghead type and your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, your opponent trashes 2 cards from their hand. Okay, I mean, there are ways to play around this by just dumping your hand as much as you possibly can. But at the same time, guys, if your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand and they try to attack into you, they're trashing 2 cards. That's pretty strong, guys. That's pretty good. If your leader has the egghead type and your opponent has 6 or more cards in hand, your opponent trashes 2 cards from their hand. Yeah, and it's a 5-cost 6K with a 1K counter, so it can be offensive as well. It can be aggressive. Big fan, guys. Big fan of this one. This one seems really solid for the egghead stuff. I'll give this like a 7 out of 10. Because I do think a lot of decks will be able to play around this by just like, it's like, oh, okay, you want me to trash cards from my hand? I'll tell you what, I'll just dump my entire hand on the board and make you deal with it that way. Excuse me, but it is forcing your opponent to play a certain way. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Really solid, 7.5 out of 10. Okay, more Revo Army stuff. Bello Betty. I wish they had this in a little bit more order, like the Egghead stuff, the Ohara stuff, and then the Revo Army stuff, but whatever, that's fine. Okay, next up is Bello Betty. We got a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter, Revo Army type character card here. The same triggers we've been seeing with the 5 or less life card stipulation, or the 5 or less life cards between you and your opponent stipulation. And then on play, if you have 2 or less life cards, draw 1 card. So, of course, I'm thinking Red, Yellow, Sabo here. If I can get this card down, like if I can get down to 2 life, maybe I'll aggressively take life against, you know, well, I don't know. Okay. I'm going to have to do a lot of playtesting with this new idea, this new trigger idea of if your leader has the Revo Army type and you and your opponent have a total of 5 or less life cards, play this card. I don't know the best way to go about this. Like maybe we run 4 Flampe in a deck like this so we can aggressively take life and then turn on our triggers as fast as we can. Because here's the thing. If you're running a list with all these 3-cost triggers in there, if you know, let me say it like this. A lot of times when you're taking cards from your life with Revo Army stuff or with Red, Yellow, Sabo or any yellow deck, you're like, oh man, that stinks if I hit a trigger because I just lost value. Well, it's like you're not losing any value with this because if you and your opponent have 5 or more life, you weren't getting this card to begin with. You know what I mean? So that is something to consider. So I think maybe we'll run like Flampes and things like that, ways to trash life to get this down, more like the new Koala and stuff like that. Because otherwise you're just not getting any value from these cards and you're I don't know. You want to be able to get this card down immediately to start drawing you cards and then pushing it back into your life and just continuously getting that effect every turn to on-play draw a card. Again, at least in my opinion, that's how I'd play with Red, Yellow, Sabo. With Red, Yellow, Bello, Betty, it's a little more, there's a little more like luck required, but still. I mean, not necessarily, I guess. Now that we do have the new, let me see something real quick, guys. I gotta blast through here real quick. Add up to 1 Revo Army type character card from your hand to the top of your life. So I guess you can set it with Sabo. Excuse me, even if you are playing Bello Betty. And the same thing with Koala. You will be able to set cards. You may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Well, no, this would allow you to play from your actual hand, but still, that could draw you another card. So let's just, you know, hypothetically here, let's say we use Koala to take a card from our life, which and maybe that turned on our Bello Betty we were just looking at. So now we took a card from life. We're gonna play out the Bello Betty with the Koala's effect to draw a card from the Bello Betty and draw a card from the Koala. So we'll basically be drawing 3, playing out 2. You know what I mean? Even though we're going down a life. I don't know. Something to be said there. There could be something to that. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Whoops. So this Bello Betty, I am going to say it has card draw. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 bare minimum. Any card that has card draw or even potential card draw, I try to give around a 6 to a 7 at the minimum for card draw. Okay. Okay, next up we got Morley. This is just a 4-cost, 6K, 1K counter vanilla character. So we're going to go ahead and give this one a 5 out of 10 because it's just totally generic. Okay, then we got Lindbergh. This one, I kind of like this one. Let's break it down. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter Revo Army character and Minx. It's Minx as well. Maybe that will matter in the future, but it definitely doesn't matter currently. But the effect is on play. If you and your opponent have a total of 5 or less life cards, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with 2,000 power or less. Okay, trigger. If you and your opponent have a total of 5 or less life cards, play this card. Not bad. I mean, it's not bad. Especially that on play, but I really, really do not like the fact that the on play is limited to that 5 or less life, you know, requirement. I can't stand that for the on play. The trigger, absolutely. I get the trigger. But why does the on play have to be limited to that when it's a 2,000 power less character we're KOing? Oh, man. That gives me bad vibes, but at the same time, like I said, maybe we're going to aggressively take life with cards like the Koala, with cards like Sabo, you know. Actually, does Sabo take life card? Hang on one second, guys. I'm sorry. We've got to flip through really quickly. Add up to 1 Revo Army type character card from your hand to the top of your life cards face up. Then if you have 2 or more life cards, add 1 from the bottom or top of your life to your hand. So yeah, it does. It technically can if you have 2 or more, right? So the idea still remains the same, where it's like, okay, if we can like aggressively take life down with Koala and keep staying, you know, lower on life with cards like the what's his name, Sabo, maybe using cards like Flampe, Makino, Hiyori, maybe we'll be able to keep our life low enough to really get value from this card. But I really, again, I love the way this card is designed in every way, except that one stipulation they put on the on-play effect. The trigger, absolutely. If you and your opponent have a total of 5 or less life, play this card, sure, that's fine. But not on the on-play. I'm very upset about that. But still, I'm going to try and find a way to play it. I think the card could be very strong. Okay, now we got Ice Block Partisan. This is a 1-cost Navy event with main. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less and a trigger. Trigger, draw 1 card. So that's very specific. I have to say, that's very, very specific. It is a 1-cost to pop a 3 or less if they have a trigger, so I guess maybe that is kind of decent. But other than that, and the trigger, draw a card, that's not bad either. But otherwise, this is kind of, I think it's almost too specific for anything we're trying to do. Not a bad card, just kind of weird. So y'all tell me what y'all think about this card down in the comment section below if you're thinking about some like really special interaction. But I'm just going to give this a 5 out of 10. I think it's just an average card. Maybe it's even like a 4.5 out of 10 because it can't even hit a character if it doesn't have a trigger. So it's a little too geared towards yellow removal when it's in yellow, which is kind of odd. Oh well. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 and move on. All right, next up we have Never Underestimate the Power of Miracles. This is a 1-cost Revo Army event. Counter up to one of your leader or character cards, gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. Trigger, play up to 1 Revo Army type character card with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. So I don't like anything about this card, to be honest, guys. I just think it's kind of, man, I do not like to call a card bad, but I think you guys can read my mind. Let's try and think of the upside of it. It is a 1-cost 2K counter, which is what Rad Beam is before you have 2 or less life. So it has that. It is a 1-cost 2K counter. And then the trigger is potentially really strong, right? The trigger could be really, really strong for tempo purposes. But overall, guys, man, like I said, I don't have a lot of good things to say about this card. Let's at least look at Sabo one more time. Could he put non-character cards in? No, it has to be a character card. It'd be cool if Sabo could set that card for us. Whoops, sorry, guys. If Sabo could set this card to our top life because it's a Revo card, then it would be kind of cool because then we know we're gonna have it coming. But otherwise, I don't have anything good to say about this card, guys. 1-cost 2K counter. I'd rather just have a 0-cost 2K counter there. You know, like not a 0-cost, like a Satori or any of the 2K counters we already have access to. Why not make it until the end of turn instead of during this battle? Have it be plus 2,000 power during this turn. Then I would actually really like this card, and then the trigger would actually just be added value. But yeah, I don't know. Even if it was just like plus 1,000 power during this turn. Because think about it, guys. Like think about it real quick like this. White Snake is a card in Nami, right? It's a 2-cost. Plus 1,000 power for the turn, and draw a card, and it has a trigger as well, relevant to its design. This card just has a very powerful trigger, and then a very lackluster counter effect. I'm just not a fan. I'm not saying it's a bad card. Like I said, I don't want to say that. I'm going to give it, but I am going to say it's like. See, here's the thing. The trigger makes up for it. Okay, I will say that the trigger is potentially very powerful because you get all these trigger cards in your hand. It's like, crap, I wish these were in my life. Okay, well, maybe this card will be in your life. And now you'll play this, think about that though. This card will be played and then you'll play the card from your hand. So you'll lose 2 cards basically from that. But at the same time, most trigger cards do that anyway, where it's like, okay, play this card out and trash card from your hand. It's basically the reverse effect of that. Again, I'm not a huge fan. If they had made it a 1-cost 3K even, guys, all right. I'll stop after this, okay, I promise. If they had just made this card into a 1-cost 3,000 power counter event for a battle, then I'd be fine. Or a 1-cost 1,000 power counter during this turn. Then I'm absolutely happy. And keep the trigger the same in no matter what way we cut it. But counter up to one of your leader characters gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. 1 cost for a 2K counter. What? Like, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It frustrates me. I'm going to give this card a 4.5 out of 10. Based on the counter, but I don't know. The trigger puts it like a 7 out of 10. I'm just going to we're going to round down to a 5 out of 10, guys. It is what it is. And that's coming from somebody who does play Revo Army now, guys. Like, I cannot wait to get my hands on these yellow Revo Army cards. But man, I wish they had not. I feel like they dropped the ball with this one. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Okay, next up we have a 3-cost event here called Dareshi. It is a Ohara type event. Main, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Okay, this is a top 5 searcher for 3, guys. Reveal up to 2 cards with a trigger other than Dareshi and add them to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Trigger, draw a card. Guys, that effect is crazy. Absolutely crazy for yellow decks. That is a 3-cost top 5 searcher to draw 2 cards of your choice that are trigger in them. That have trigger in them other than Dareshi, of course. That would be crazy if you could just keep looping Dareshis. Then it would be out of control. But anyway, guys, I have to say, I'm a big fan of this card. Trigger, draw a card. Trigger, draw a card, that's fine. But 3 costs to do a top 5 search and to snag 2 trigger cards out of there? Can you give yellow any more reason to build a deck that is just straight triggers? I don't think so. Like, if they didn't already have a reason to build straight triggers because of how many powerful triggers there are in the game currently, they print cards like this that's not leader locked. It's not locked in any way, guys. It's trigger, draw a card. The effect does not... It can search any cards with triggers. Any cards with triggers other than itself. Yeah. This card is a 9 out of 10 for me, guys. It is a Sanji's Pilaf. It's a souped-up Sanji's Pilaf for yellow decks, guys. Like, think about it. Sanji's Pilaf is a 3-cost draw 2. Just draw the top 2 cards of your deck. This is a 3-cost. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck and pick the 2 triggers you want from there. And imagine, in a deck like this, obviously you're going to have like 30-plus triggers in that list, so you never whiff a double search. I'm a big fan of this, guys. I will be exploring this card in the future. Some people might be putting this card... Excuse me. Some people might be putting this card as low as like probably like a 7 out of 10 or something. But guys, if you're rating this card as anything lower than a 7 out of 10 in a yellow trigger deck, I don't know what's going through your mind. You know what I mean? Now, yes, you might be saying, well, I don't want to play trigger decks. Well, then that's fine. That's different. But for what this card is designed to do, like in a vacuum, like it's designed to get triggers, to hunt triggers, and it can grab 2 of them out of your top 5 cards. For me, guys, this is a 9 out of 10. But yeah, in a vacuum, maybe, I guess you could say, maybe a 7 out of 10. But guys, this card, I cannot wait to mess with this one. Okay, and then we got Nami here. This is the special rare for yellow. It looks like they did this for every single color. They had one special card for every color. And for yellow, it was Nami, the 5-cost. This is the Egghead Straw Hat Crew version. 5-cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter. Trigger activates the on-play effect. The on-play effect is on play. You may trash 1 card with a trigger from your hand. KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with the cost of 5 or less. Then if you have 3 or less cards in your hand, draw 1 card. So remember what we were just looking at, guys? Oh yeah, I'll just search this up, you know, or excuse me, with Dareshi, I'll just search this card right here up and like a 5-cost Rocket Boots Luffy or something. I don't know. Doesn't seem too bad to me. All right, we're done with that, guys. Tell me what y'all think about yellow. I have to say, let's just blast through it real quick. Nico Robin, I can't wait to play with this leader. Karasu was solid. This seemed like a very good card. Kuzan as well. I was a big fan of how this one turned out. Clover, incredible 2k counter for Nico Robin. Koala might have a lot of potential. I do want to mess with this card with the Revo Army. Sabo, I was slightly disappointed. I'm not going to lie, but it's also still a very powerful card. I can't wait to use it. Sanji, this is like the Egghead version of basically 200 million volts of Maru or Ikaku Sovereignty. Nico Olvia, awesome Nico Robin support. Nico Robin, I can't wait to play with this card. This card is just straight gas. Okay, straight gas when it comes to the stuff that I've been building for yellow lately. And by the way, you can search this card up with your new Dareshi. The new Dareshi event, just search this card up. Incredible. Kuma, great 2k counter for Revo Army. They needed a 4-cost 5k 2k counter that comes into play from life, from the trigger like this. Really solid. Saul, this is incredible. Nico Robin. Pierre, just great utility card. Brook, insanely powerful discard effect, hand destruction effect for Egghead Straw Hat Crew. Mainly Egghead, right? Okay, because your leader does have to be Egghead. Bello Betty, sky's limits on this one, guys. Especially for Red Yellow Sabo, if I can get down to 2 life and start looping this Bello Betty, they're going to be in a world of hurt, guys. They're going to be in an absolute world of hurt. Okay, Morley's just a vanilla. Lindbergh, remember guys, I was a little frustrated with this one with the on-play effect. I wish that was not limited to having you and your opponent have 5 or less life cards. But still, if you can get down to that, you're going to be able to combo this with cards like Fire Fist, with cards like Koala, the 2K counter Koala. Really good stuff here. Ice Block Partisan was just strangely specific. I was not a huge fan of this one. This one I was extremely underwhelmed with. Hey, never underestimate the power of miracles. Well, I totally underestimate this card, but we'll see. Hey, if this card ends up being very good, it won't be the first time I've been proven wrong, guys. So by all means, tell me what y'all think in the comment section below about this card, guys. Am I crazy, or is this a little bit lackluster, guys? Am I crazy? I know my buddy Mike, I've already talked to him about this. We're always brainstorming Red, Yellow, Sabo, Revo Army stuff, and Bello Betty and all that good stuff. And he thought this card was pretty good because of the trigger. And I agree with him there. He's right about that. The trigger is very solid. But why is that counter not done properly? Why is that not a 1-cost counter that gives you plus 1,000 power for the turn, or a 1-cost counter that gives me plus 3,000 power for this battle? It has to be one of those two. The plus 2,000 man, it irks me. And then Dureshi. Guys, this card is insanely good. For any kind of trigger-heavy list, this card is just absolutely insane. A top 5 searcher, double searcher. A top 5 double searcher for all the trigger cards that you're looking for. Good stuff. And then, of course, the special. All right, guys, that's it for yellow. Again, tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and end this off with a game on the sim. We can't end off any of my videos without at least some kind of game on the sim or some game we review. We got to always be tuned in, locked in, zoned in to One Piece. Okay, guys? Now, let's do this. We got the volume off. We got the speed on 2x. I'm going to take a quick sip of my water while this game starts, and then we'll get into it. Okay, guys? All right, here we go, guys. Pause real quick so I can catch us up. They did get an early Germa stage there, but they didn't use it for some reason. That's always peculiar. I'll never understand that. But we got our stage, and we're off to the races, right? We're going straight to it. Okay, let's see what they decide to do here. Yeah, it is my opponent's turn. And let's see what they do. They got 4 Dawn. They absolutely forgot to use their effect last turn. At least I think they did. Maybe I'm crazy. They're going to swing for 5 here. I'll give them a 1K counter. I don't want to go too low against Reiju. They can be very explosive. They don't use the stage again. Guys, I don't know what's in their hand, but I'm confused. So if that's the case and they did not put a Reiju in their trash, I want to pop that Reiju now, guys. I do. Like, that is something I might consider doing on this turn, right? Swing 5. They go ahead and give me a 1K counter. Very good. Use my stage. I'm going to play out the Bon Carré. Now, again, I think I should have popped the Reiju. I didn't do it, and I remember not doing it in this game. But at the same time, I think it would have been very smart, very wise of me to pop that Reiju there, the 2 cost. Okay, but they're struggling, guys. Now, this is something that can happen. This can happen with Reiju as you just get bricked up. Look at this. All right, he is just trashing cards like crazy. Look what he's putting in his trash. He is desperately looking for the 4-cost Ikiji. Do y'all see this, guys? And he can't find it. It happens. It happens. Especially when you don't use your stage early. Again, I don't quite get that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play out the Jack here. I'm going to start fixing my hand, filling up my trash, popping characters on the board. And let's see what we do here. I use my leader effect to draw a card. I'm going to swing for 8 into 5. Probably give me a blocker or take it. Okay, yeah, maybe he's looking for... Hey, maybe all of his Ikijis are in his life. You never know. You never know in One Piece. The life is totally unknown, right? Unless you have an effect that can search it up or peek out. Okay, so he finally got an Ikiji, finally. And it looks like he's ready to start, turning on the heat here. He's got my Jack down to a 6K body. Let's see what he does. Okay, Niji's going to bounce my guy back. I'll take that. I'll take the counter back. Swing 10 into 6. All right, let's save him. We got to give him a 2K, 2K, 1K. That hurt. But now we're going to take the one from life. Here we go. All right. What do we do here? We got to figure this turn out. This is, that Ikiji has got to go. Okay, that card has got to go. Do I have it on 2x speed? Sorry, guys. I bet I forgot. No, it's good. I'm just taking forever. Okay, so right here I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I use the leader effect. I go ahead and pop one of these 0-cost blockers. And I think I'm going to play out another one. Looks like, yeah, hey. 1 Jack's pretty good, but what about 2 Jacks? Then we're going to use the leader effect, drop his power down, and then we're going to pop this card. We're good to go. We're good to go. But I'll tell you what would be really nice right here is this 10 cost card that I run in the deck called Kaido. I don't know if you guys know about the card I'm talking about. That would be very nice against Reiju, because watch what happens here. I do remember this. And I do run 4 of them. I do run 4 of them. Okay, they're going to go ahead and play out these characters here. They just fill out their entire board, and here we go. This is not ideal, right? Not ideal. 6 and a 6. There's no way I should give him this. Okay, let's see if I might. Let's see what happens. Because the other option is then he just starts swinging at life, maybe, with his Akiji. But no, he's probably going to load up and swing everything into it with his Akiji. That would be the right call here. Oh, I forgot. His Niji could attack this turn as well. I forgot about that. Whoops. 2K counter out of that one. There's the guy I'm looking for. We found him. All right, here we go. Swing 5. Swing 8. All right. I don't know why I would do that, guys. I guess I'm trying to get a 2K counter out of his hand. Yeah. No idea. Your guess is better than mine. It's not as good as mine. Your guess would be better than mine. Why wouldn't I just go face there? Makes no sense at all. Because swinging for 8, he probably couldn't counter out of that. And then this turn, I'd have him on like a 1-turn clock where he has to establish blockers. Okay. So, hey, we all make play mistakes, though. It is what it is. They're going to go ahead and play out a Reiju here. Draw some cards. Try and fix their hand. Let's see what they do. They get out of Sanji. Very nice. That cost a full 6. Because guess what, guys? Oh, hang on a second. Hang on a second. I missed something there. I wasn't paying attention. How much Dawn do I have again? Oh, that's right. I only have 3 Dawn. They play out a Vinsmoke Reiju, thinking they're about to draw 2 cards. They did draw 1 card from their leader effect, but I've got bad news for them. I'm at 3 Dawn. They're at like 9. They play out the Sanji for 6. They're going to swing for 7. Okay, so I guess we're going to have to probably take this. I guess I could counter out, but should I? I don't know. It's a tough call. All right, nice. We get the Onigashima Island here. Onigashima, whatever. So at this point now, I can play out the Queen, trashing the Onigashima in my hand, and fix things that way. Swing 5. Swing 12. Play a blocker, because I'm about to lose the game, right? I'm not in good shape here. But now we're okay. Now we're all right. We got 3 2K counters in hand. We got another blocker for next turn. We've got a Reiju to gain our cards back with. And we're doing all right now. To be honest, guys, we're doing all right. Watch this. This is I remember this turn. All right, he plays out Vinsmoke Judge. Excuse me. He plays out Vinsmoke Judge. But remember, guys, I'm at 5 Dawn. I'm at 5 Dawn. And if I was smart, I probably should have drew a card last turn with my leader effect just to go even lower. But watch this. He's going to use every single effect. Excuse me. He should have saved the Judge. He should not have gotten rid of the Judge. That was a bad call, because then he could have used the effect to go down even further Dawn. But here's the problem, guys. I mean, still he's at, what is that, 3, 4? He just got down to 6 Dawn. Yeah, so even if he had done things in whatever order he wanted, he could not get the Akiji to go off in time. Swing for 5. We'll give him a 1K counter. See what he does here. He's got 2 more attacks if he wants them. Swinging for 6 is suicide at this point, right? Yeah, that was not the correct call to swing for 6, because now he can't defend out. But I guess he was going for something there. I don't know what. But hey, that was pretty nice, guys, going down that far, going down that low with Dawn, where he could not crawl out. He couldn't rush with his Akiji. He couldn't bounce anything back. Not that he could bounce anything back with the Niji. He couldn't draw cards with his Reiju. He was only able to draw cards with his leader effect. So that 10 cost Kaido in this deck absolutely demolishes Reiju. At least that's the way it felt for me in this game. I'm not saying this guy was the best player, but y'all get the point. It does have like some type of counter potential there. Okay, let's go ahead and check out. Guys, my throat is just going crazy. I do apologize, guys. Some days are worse than others. But okay, here we go. This is the list I was running. I'm not going to read through it all, like I said, because of my throat. Pause it. I'll have it posted in the comment section if you want to see it. But guys, this is the list I've been messing with. If you're interested in playing Purple Black King, it is not as bad as people are saying. I'm not saying it's going to win you a tournament. Not saying that. But guys, if you're ramping using cards like Mr. 2 Bankrai Bentham, and if you're using Onigashima, and you have all this recursion stuff, like, you know, with your Gecko Moria. The Rebecca is kind of whatever. It's kind of ambitious running Brook in this deck. I don't think that's the best call. That can probably be improved on with the list. But everything else, guys, like I said, the Bankareis, the Onegashimas, ramping straight to a 10-cost Kaido, 10-cost 12k Kaido that pops their entire board. Yeah. I'm going to take that every time. I run 4 of those for a reason, guys. And then we got the two random Reijus in here to draw back up if things get dicey. 2 Black Maria. I don't know, guys. Like, for me, this card's just not even that great. I don't know what it is in this deck. Like, hey, in Red Purple Law, it was crazy because you're doing Dawn -3 every turn or more, right? You know, if you're running the 4-cost block, the 4-cost blocker Law, the 5-cost Queen and stuff like that, it just gets crazy. But yeah. One thing I do want to say, though, guys, is this card right here is in the deck specifically to search for this first and then this. This is the next target you're going for. And if you have both of those, then maybe start going for, what's his name, Jack, or maybe even Who's Who. You know, go for whatever. But you can't search up Queen with Queen, unfortunately. You guys know how that is. You know, you can search up, usually with most searchers, you can search up anything except the same name card. Now, there are some exceptions, right? Some searchers can, but Queen can't. This Queen cannot. Right, guys, that's it. I'm done. I'm done yapping. That was a lot of fun. We made it through the entire set review, guys. Let's bring it up real quick. Excuse me. We've gone through everything now in OP-09. We are caught up. It is time to go through. Check it out, by the way, guys. Look at this. These are all the different ones I was talking about. Here's the red one, the green, excuse me, yeah, red, green, blue, purple, black, and yellow. Very cool. For there's a special art one for each color. Very cool stuff. Anyway, back to what I was saying before I distracted myself. Guys, we are done with all the OP-09 spoilers and card reviews. We know what the cards do now. Now it's time to start covering the decks, you know, as they come out from the East. See what's going on with all the new meta, all the new leaders. It should be a lot of fun because there's a lot of new looking, cool looking decks coming out for OP-09. We already have the first wave in, guys. I'm not going to show you in this video. I want to, you know, I want to say that for future videos now that we're all caught up. But there's a lot of really awesome looking stuff coming out from OP-09. All right, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed that. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, if I missed something, help me out in the comment section below. Put anything down in the comment section below, guys. I try to get to that as soon as I can. Big shout out to everybody who supports this channel, guys. If you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, you're helping me out more than you know. I really, really appreciate it. The channel's been growing like crazy. The Discord's been growing like crazy. Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on there. And big shout out to all the VV Pirates playmat supporters. I hope you got your mat now by now, and I hope you're enjoying it. And also for the patrons, thank you guys so much for helping me out. I really do appreciate it, guys. All right, I'm done. I'm completely worn out. I'm beat from doing all these reviews, guys. It takes a lot out of me. I don't mind doing these. I can talk for you guys know. I can yap. I can go on. I'm a professional yapper at this point, right? Being a teacher and doing this on YouTube. I get man. All I do is hear my own voice these days. But at the same time, cheat code real quick, guys. If for those who don't know, always listen to my videos on 2x speed. When I speak, I try to speak at a very understandable level where everyone can understand what I'm saying and process it because I speak slowly and very pronounced. Yeah, I try to pronounce all the syllables so there's no confusion and it's very easy to understand what I'm saying. But if you know, and that's mainly for people who have any kind of auditory problems. I try to make it where they can understand what I'm saying, you know, in a very coherent way. However, if you don't have any auditory learning problems, 2x speed this, guys, and guess what? Then it sounds perfect because I speak so slowly and I try to speak so, you know, in a way people can understand. If you speed it up, guess what? It starts sounding perfect then. That's how I listen to all my content when I'm reviewing it to make sure everything sounds okay and I didn't mess anything up. I put it on 2x speed so I understand, you know, or so I can blast through my stuff as fast as possible. All right. Like I say, guys, I'm like a professional yapper at this point. It's been real. This has been a fun one, guys. This whole entire series, I will have it turned into a playlist, a 1 through 7 playlist from the leaders through every single color, so you can give that to your friends if they're looking to get into the game. Like, hey, check this out. You know, to whoever your friends are, like, check this out, guys. Shanks is about to come into the game as an amazing leader. Blackbeard, Buggy. It's about to go crazy in OP-09, guys. Like, in a good way. In a good way, I think it's going to be awesome. I think OP-09 might end up being the best set we've seen so far. We'll have to see. Only time will tell. Right, guys, like I said, tell me what y'all thought about these yellow cards and about OP-09 in general, just to summarize. You know, tell me what y'all think about it, guys. All right, I'm done. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.